Your voice is not coming, Sandeep. No, no. Sandeep, your voice is not coming. I think you are mute.
Hello.
Yes. Yeah, now better.
Welcome, your Chin community. Welcome to the Sky Network show. Welcome our panelists. Uh, Hello, Yogesh. Hello, Daniel. Thank you
Hey,
for
hi,
taking this
hi.
time out.
Thank you.
We have also waiting for one more panelist to join us. Meanwhile, we have already started going live, and we are already live on Secure Chain AI Twitter, Ether Authority Twitter, and Secure Chain AI Facebook. Our channels we are going ahead now. So first and foremost, thank you everyone for taking this time out and being with us. It's always an opportunity to communicate with the community, let them know the project, like progress of the project, and always bring the experts to bring in different kind of knowledge and um in and all to give the proper knowledge base to our community. So Yogesh, over to you.
All right, Sandeep, thank you. Thanks for the opportunity to speak. Welcome, everyone. My name is Yogesh Parsala, and I'm a CP of Ether Authority. And on behalf of our panelists, I would like to welcome Daniel Sheikh, and he is a very successful CEO of Inferior AI, and very successful in industry. And we will have today an opportunity to learn from them and get knowledge, insights, and wisdom from industry leaders. So, very excited to be here and to be part of this conversation. And let's make today the most valuable the session for whole week. So with this 1 hour of time that we are spending together, we'll make sure to get the most value and to deliver most value to the community members. So Daniel, thank you. Thanks for being here. We are really honored to have you on the show. Over to you, sir. You want to introduce yourself and you want to say something about you and your business?
Pleasure, Yogesh. Pleasure, Sandeep. It's been a while. I've been in the industry. We have been working but on a lot of projects. But right now, what's happening is it's AI narrative all over the world. So with inflective AI, we are trying to normalize and humanize AI and trying to create a global engine for the world. So all the AI apps can work within the infrastructure which we are trying to work on. I think the issue which we have taken on is something which might be needed after like 3 4 years. So that's why we started last year, and we I think that's going to be very much needed in future, because with a lot of load and data and processing, the issue mainly in future is going to be the cloud and the data and the LLMs, and we have very less options currently. So we are just trying to resolve all those issues: the security, the data, the exploitation of data, so all of it. So that's pretty much it.
Right, right. Yeah. So in terms of the AI, so the topic of today's discussion is the tokenomics, how the Web3 and the blockchain and AI, and how we combine everything to create such a tokenomics for any projects, and that will how that can benefit to the industry and how that can. So that's the topic. But before
True.
going to that part, since you are into an AI and AI is the future technology, right? AI and quantum computing. So after, what do you see after 5 years or 10 years down the road? How you see what will be the gap? How will be looking at when we are will be in like after 10 years, 5 year, 10 year time? So what do you say about
So, okay, so to be honest, after 5 years or 10 years, I think it's gonna be a lot different, because I think in last 2 3 years, if we just analyze how it all started, Like, a lot of visionary started 10 years back, when they invested in, like, all these open AI and all these good AI projects to work with. But now they are live, right? So, and we have seen the journey in last 2 years with Mid Journey and all other projects. Now they are moving fast. So with AI, what happens is 0 to 100 takes time, but then 100 to 1,000 it takes a minute. So I think in next 5 years or in 10 years, probably everything, most of this stuff is going to be automated. So it doesn't mean, like, there'll be no more humans. It will be all Terminator. It will be normalized in next 5 to 10 years. Will be used. I think we will might be used to all this stuff. Uh, a lot of human act will be less, so we'll be focusing more on the impact mainly. So currently, like, we waste a lot of time on useless stuff, which can easily be automated. So those areas, I think, might have an edge on, and I think we should embrace it, just because that's going to be the future. So we should not, like, blame it. We should make friends of AI, because I think it will make a lot of stuff easier for all of us. So only the lazy ones will remain, like, behind all of this. So that's how I perceive, because I belong from an I used to be an artist, right? So from an artist to this, we kept on learning, and we that's how, like, VFX and animation is totally changed after what AI is doing right now. So I think with we can do better with the human hours. That's what I see in next 5 to 10 years.
Right, right. So are we going to see kind of robots like we see in sci-fi movies? Maybe not 5 years, maybe 10 years, 20, 30 years down the
No, I
road.
think in 2 years we have already seen Tesla event last week,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
So it was crazy. Like, barista is your Tesla bot. So, and their responses are amazing. So it's just like, if we observe Japan, so we'll get to see Japan is like 70% automated, right? So so I think it's just gonna be next 2 3 years. It will be very normal. And let's see. It depends on how compliances will work, because I think for AI and for all this automation, we need to have a very strict compliance to work with, because where there are many advantages to it, then there are disadvantages to it as well. So we need to be aware of what we are getting into, and how we can, like, make sure, like, everything is secure, everything is common, because otherwise there'll be a huge disaster, because, like, now the wars are not gonna be with bombs and missiles. It's gonna be all tech war.
Yeah, yeah.
uh,
Information, yeah.
with information, data, tech. So that's what we need to be aware of now.
Right, right. So, I mean, you brought the point with really important point uh, about the compliances. For example, like nuclear technology, it's very useful if we use that technology for good of mankind. Then it produces the huge amount of the energy, and it's a good technology. At the same time, if that come into the hands of bad actors, then it has a terrible destructive effect. Same way, what do you say about the AI? What do you think about the AI? What could be the threats, potential threats?
So, threat is going to be the data security, actually, and the security itself. So, let's say, right now, uh, it is not conscious. Like, the conscious is not there for AI. But with neural computing and, like, with neural networks, once they'll get the conscious, then it's a different topic. But I think we can always control it. We can train it in a way where, even if it gets the consciousness, even then, like, we can control how much and how far it can go. So let's say the thing is, it's learning from the world data, right?
Yeah.
And for this, the basic concept is like, if there is an issue, or if someone does something wrong, you kill them, right? Or you punish them. So the punishment can be anything, and it doesn't know if a baby does does something wrong. It's the same as if the adult does something wrong, right? So for
Yeah.
for the AI to have that consciousness, it needs to have those, conscious, like, we need to have some sort of layers to control it. Otherwise there'll be an issue, which we will not be able to handle it. Just like when Facebook was doing those AI tests. Remember, those two languages started talking to each other in a new language, so they had to shut it down. So this is where, uh, eventually it will have an issue. So I think we just need to be aware of what we are getting into, how to control it, and what possible ways we can utilize. So if we utilize it for the good of the people, then it's good. But it needs to be altered and controlled enough. So that's how I think we have the guest. She's here,
Okay.
so
Yeah,
let
yeah,
her.
yeah. Hi, Alakani. Welcome to the show. Thanks for being here.
Yeah, look,
Is my voice audible?
welcome to the show.
Thank you. Yeah, it's audible.
Uh,
Yeah.
All right. So first of all, yeah, before Daniel, before we get into the main discussion topic, I would just like to take a moment and welcome and acknowledge Alak. She's been in this industry for a very long time and contributed into this industry in a different ways, various ways. All right, ma'am, you want to introduce yourself and just give brief about yourself and your business and background?
Okay, cool. Yeah, I'm Alakanani. You can just call me Ala or Alka or you feel comfortable with. Yes, but in the space normally they just call me Big Pen Lady. So in the space for almost 10 years, if not more, from 2012 till now. So I started off as a teacher, just teaching people about what Bitcoin is and what Bitcoin does and how we can benefit from the Bitcoin technology. And then I opened the center, the Satoshi Center, where I help people to come up with their own solutions. So you come to me with an idea, we discuss it, and I see how we can best help you develop. Which is what I've been doing, and that's how I met you. Because I was looking for ways in which I can start, helping people to build solutions. I think we've done a lot of solutions with you, coming from Africa. So that is my space. I call myself an entrepreneur because I think a lot. I think of solutions, look at the problems that are surrounding us, and how we can come up with innovations to solve those problems. I'm a wife and a mother of one. Son is 13. I've got a teenager. Yeah, that's me in short. That's me in short.
Right. Perfect. Thank you. And Satoshi Center, right, did a lot of contribution to the industry through that project. I am aware. I know about that project since very long time. So yeah,
Yeah,
phenomenal.
thank you so much.
All
I
right.
appreciate that. Yeah.
Pleasure. So basically, the recreating the intention is of this show is to discuss about the various trends and about the technology, Web3, AI, and how is their implication is there on tokenomics, and how we can create a tokenomics such a way and have a positive impact on the blockchain businesses. So there are so many blockchain businesses are launching, like every day there are hundreds. So how this technology
Yes,
can impact them and for the betterment of industry overall. So that's the context of this discussion today. And yeah, we're talking about the AI. Okay, so we just started about the AI because it's like everybody's exciting about it, and it's like buzzwords, and it's like AI is going to be like take over everything. It's look like software industry, they will be taken over by the AI, or
yeah,
the service industry, or like if there are telecaller customer service everywhere, everything will be handled by the AI. And even if even I was watching the video of Google. They were like booking appointment, like it's like they were like humans are doing all those things. So AI is like being so intelligent and accurate, and it's mind-blowing technology. So that's what we are talking about, how we are going to see the AI in coming years, let's say 5 years, 10 years, 20 years down the road. Are we going to see like the humans work and labor and everything is replaced by the AI, like 50%, 70% is automated, like robots are doing everything in house, there are robots moving around in the streets? Will that going to be the normal, like we see in sci-fi movies? Alak, what is your thought?
I mean, like AI is quite interesting. Like if you're following all the things that have been happening, from writing books, from answering calls, like you say, we see like a lot of development. It's kind of scary, and it's also beautiful at the same time. It's scary maybe when you look at deep fakes, for example, if somebody can fake, my voice and can be able to say, this is me, my hands gestures, I love using my hands. Somebody can create an AI that that's exactly like what I do. Then maybe that's the scary part of it. If only maybe we find a way in which to counter some of the scary parts of AI. But at the same time, I do feel technology is always advancing. When you look back from where technology was coming from the days where Facebook was coming from, you see different growth. There's we are growing smart. I don't think the AI is growing smart. Human beings are growing smart. So human beings are growing smart, and the more we grow smart, the more we're able to kind of create solutions like what we are talking about today, AI. So when AI take over human beings, if we can code it, then we can also kill it. I do believe, and unless now the AI goes to the point whereby they can now start developing their own language, their own code, then it will be a little bit scary because we'll not be able to before. But I do believe human beings are supercomputers. I always believe human beings are supercomputers. They are much greater and they're smarter than the computer because you're able to create that. You are the one who developed that. You are the one who created that solution. So I don't know. It's scary. Like I was saying, the fakes. People are faking things. People are going to be faking a lot of things. But at the same time, it makes work very, very easy. I can imagine in my farm, I have an AI that cultivates my dad. So means the work now is much faster. Like right now, if I hire human beings, they can take their, sometimes they're tired, they get sick, they get angry, and all that. But with an AI, if I take it and I put it in the farm, it will make my work in the farm easy. If you have an AI that is answering calls, you can do 24/7. So without having to change people, like for example, when you are running a call center, you have to have shifts. Ones that are working in the morning, the other people that are working in the evening, they have to have shifts. But with an AI, if it can be done so that it's able to answer calls like human being and have emotions and have all that, I think it's an interesting thing. I mean, like I find it really, really interesting. Scary, of course, but at the same time, very much interesting. Unless they can take over the world, they're interesting. Interesting. Yeah, it's very interesting.
uh, all right, yeah, thank you. Daniel, is will that be going to be like AI will take over the human intelligence?
No,
Do you
never.
see might happen?
Yeah. So the funny part is now, like it's a buzzword, AI. It was always there. Like if we go on, like discuss it in a way where automation used to be there, like for the last 20 years,
Yeah.
right? Siri has been there forever, but now when we say about AI, when we think of it, but I think the main part of AI is to make human work usable, like, so we don't waste time on things which are repetitive. So we can
Yeah.
just teach a bot or train a bot or use AI to help us, so we can do better things, right? So right now we waste a lot of stuff and a lot of time doing something which can easily be done by any AI or a bot or something we can train off. So so it will never gonna take over, but I think a lot of people who are lazy enough and they're not learning continuously and adapting to the change of what's needed to be done, for them it's going to take over, yes. For mostly most of the people or the Gen Z, I would say, who are going to be the future of things, so for them it's all going to be all okay, like, because we'll adapt to what is going to happen. And I think for us, I think we are the only generation who have seen no technology, less technology, technology, and the future as well. So I think we are very much blessed in a way where we have seen those days where nothing was there, and now we have seen the automation part of it as well. So no, it's not going to take over, but it is going to challenge humanity in a way where we will might do something useful with our lives.
Yeah, yeah. You said that this technology is not new. It was there since
Is
automation, like
there?
machine
Yeah,
learning, robotics. It was there, like machineries and industrialization. But
exactly.
it's like this someone just thrown a cold water into the face of humanity by the chat GPT. So as soon as
Exactly.
ChatGPT and other AI tools came into the market, they just like people just like has a, like this type of feeling like what is this generative AI? Whatever I'm asking, it gives me the response even more and better than what I can do myself. Even as
True.
a software industry, if we do write the software code by ourselves, it's like it takes a lot of time, bugs and a lot of things. But if we give that
True.
task to the AI, they write the software code perfectly, and even if they can find the bugs, so if we just
True.
give them the code, just send them the files and just give a command, solve this, find bug,
Yeah,
that's it.
exactly.
Understand, learn it,
And
everything.
like, to be honest, the main part is like, first we need to understand the role of humanity and the humans itself. So, so for us, we have wasted long enough our time for things which are not needed to be done by ourselves. So, as per the use case, if we focus on the vision and the output and the impact, so a lot of labor stuff can be automated easily. And where we focused mostly on is the labor stuff. And we never focused on, like, oh, we can't create an impact. And that's a wrong way of thinking. So with, for me, like, generative AI is amazing just because we used to waste a lot of time back then, just because we were finding references to create a storyboard or to create a mood board on Google, right? And now we can just train and just type stuff and generate right away and think of what we really have in mind. So we stopped wasting time in a way where we are just searching for references, so we can go exactly like 70% close to what we are looking for our projects, right? And then in terms of artists, right, I will say, like, a lot of artists will say, like, AI has taken our work. But I think if those artists will adapt and work with the generative AI, so they can improve their work as well. So they don't have to be like, work hard. We all have to work smart. So we just need to come up with an output, right? So no matter how. So I think it's the adaptability or the adoption or the understanding of it. So a lot of old generation thinks about, like, taking it over, AI will take over. But I think from our generational point of view or the future generations don't think about it. They think it as like, a helper towards where they can just focus on reputation, and we can focus on some other stuff which is more important for living, I guess.
Right, right. That
Yeah.
brings me to another question. Um, because, see, as a human, we have cognitive ability. A brain can process the information, and it has its own limitation. I mean, I can't say it's a limitation. I heard that it's an infinite potential. But if you look at the normal life of human beings, like average Joe, they have limitation of what they can do in
True.
terms of cognitive abilities. Now, if you think about the AI down the road, if you are saying that you are making computers even powerful than what we have now, using quantum and all of the technologies. So, if we can get to that point, that piece of technology or software processes information, things, and interpreted things even faster, better, and even better than normal humans can do, in that case it looks like it has taken over majority of the human brain ability, right?
Yeah, Yogesh, I would definitely agree with you there. Am I audible, guys?
Yes, yes,
Yes,
yes,
yes, yes,
yes.
yes.
Yeah.
Okay, you were
So,
yeah, so good to have you.
yeah, sorry for the technical issues. So, guys, yeah, I've been into the conversation, and our panelist has put very valuable topics here. Again, I would just like to put my point of view here. So, I see AI as a tool, and just as the tools from the Bronze Age to the Iron Age to the modern age to the informative and AI, including the tools have been evolving, and the uh, person who makes the right use of the tool always gets the chance ahead. Like for example, when the Google came in back in 2006, I mean, people were those who there was a difference, like those who were not able to use Google, those who were able to use Google. Same thing goes with the AI again. Those who will learn to use it for their tasks, for their day-to-day work, it will obviously be really helpful to them. When it comes to taking over part, so like AI takeover will never be like okay, AI is in charge of the nukes, or AI is in charge of the army, AI is doing all those things. No, it will not be like that. It will be in the content. It will be part of the creating the bias, uh, influencing so many minds. Because right now in today's world, if you'll see, like half of the human population is, you know one way or another, consuming AI generated content every day. So those are the things which makes a lot of, like, just take last three elections anywhere in the world, and you will find the use of AI, and increasing fake news, increasing occurrences of many illicit activities, as well as, so the AI will be like takeover of the AI. If it will happen, it will happen in the content space, in the influencing people's decision. That is where AI will be affecting more. But we do still know, we need to have a robust regulatory frameworks for AI. I definitely agree with that. And uh, for example, in our scenario, we are building an AI for smart on-chain smart contract security analysis. That is one of the use cases. So it's like a tool, and I personally feel that everybody should know how to work with that tool. But again, going forward, this is where the latest uh, innovations are coming in, and it's an exciting space to keep tab at. Yeah, over to you guys.
Yeah, Daniel, you want to add something to what
No,
Sandeep?
no, I agree to what Sandeep said. Like, I think it's an evolving tech. Now it's getting faster and faster, just because for the last decade it was under training, right? So, like I said, like, from 0 to 100, it's always takes time, but from For AI from 100 to 1000, it's going to take a minute. So that's where we are now. So we have already reached like 70 to 80, 90% of what AI can be done or can do, and now it's gonna elevate faster than we can think of. I think each and every company currently is just working on AI agents currently, which is like, I would say, just like a fraction of what AI can do. But that's a part of not just innovation but automation as well. So IBM is working on Watson, Google is working on something, then each and every company is working on AI agents mostly, because they think like, this is what it can be used for. Or so far we have seen this only, right? The customer services, which is a huge world, like, which is a huge business area, but that's just like a tiny fraction of it. There are so many use cases, um, and there are so many things we can do, but at the same time we have to think of in a way, uh, what's really needed to be more effective as well. So yeah, that's what I think.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I have heard, I may be wrong, but I have heard like the big players, IBM and all those big guys, they have capital budget like 100 billion or this type of budget for developing of this technology. Uh, what do you say about the where the industry leaders, all those giants, are taking the industry to for the next?
So with the giants, I would say they are just capitalizing on the opportunity right now. So let's say all the big ones are utilizing or exploiting the big people, right? So let's say IBM will automate celebrities or big firms, right? So they'll charge them more, they'll charge premium. For me, uh, I think it should be opposite, right? If all the big leaders, so that's how OpenAI started, right? It was supposed to be a foundation, but later on they just converted it into a profitable company, right? So it
Yeah.
should be, all these AI companies should be foundations if they are working on a big agenda, because they are here to serve the humanity, right? Not to take over stuff and make it more expensive. So let's say if you go for IBM or any other AI agent currently, they are very expensive to work with. So only the big people are onboarding it. Where I think it should be opposite. It should help the small businesses. It should help the medium businesses. It should help the startups. It should help you, me, and like, every uh, John and Joe. So that's how we can do well with the AI, and it can work well. So let's say if there's an issue of electricity, if there's an issue of water, if there's an issue for something else, we can utilize AI for. So that's what's needed. But with the big players, they're looking for an opportunity to grasp, and they're trying to make money out of it, right? That's what they've always been up to, and that's how they increase their market share. So that's how, like, we just need to think of, and we need to do the opposite of what they're trying to do. And I think that's why we all that's why I love blockchain actually. It's so like, the decentralization of blockchain, and the uh, transparency of it, it makes it useful. And that's why, like, Bitcoin was there to fight the finance of the world.
Yeah,
So, this area I really like, how we can do well if we utilize it well for the world to work with.
right, right. So you brought up the point where there is one side there is a decentralization world, that's the blockchain, and there is another side that's the AI, which is primarily I believe it's a centralized
Mm.
world because all the technology, all the servers and everything should run in a centralized way, and blockchain is a decentralized. So I think oh, hi. Sorry, my mic was muted.
Oh no, no, your mic was on.
Okay, okay, okay. Yeah. So combining both the technology, how do you see it, could that be like a hybrid approach in which, let's say, there is a AI applications and everything, but some of the components such as the tokenomics or things like that, tokenization of certain things can be handled by the smart contracts and blockchain. So how both worlds, centralized and decentralized, how both we can bring together and how it can work together?
So it depends. Personally, I like everything decentralized, just because it gives you more transparency, and you make sure, like, nothing is exploited. Because whatever we have seen so far, like, the Web 2, we call it, everything is centralized, and everything uh, is exploiting, like, everything is being exploited. so but at the end, like, we think it in a way where, uh, even currently, like, everything is being exploited. Because we think of decentralized, but at the end, all these AI or decentralized stuff gets uploaded on cloud, or, like, on different clouds, which is
Definitely.
centralized. At the end, they are all centralized, right? That's more like an issue for me, because we just have two or three big players, and they are utilizing uh, all the opportunity, because we store everything on there, and they exploit the data, right? So this is what we need to work on, and we need to think of. If everything needs to be decentralized, then the base of it needs to be decentralized as well. That's where, like, we have been trying to work on, to make it centralized, not centralized, and to make it decentralized, so people own the data, people own everything. So there's no exploitation towards anything. So it's like, you work on it 360 as a solution. So for me, tokenomics, in a simpler way, it's more like how, in Web 2 equity works. And with tokenomics, there are a lot of use cases. The easiest one is the governance and the DAO. So if you use tokenomics for DAO, or for, like, let's say, I would say, um, uh, for governance, so you get the community to work with you, and you're directly working with the community towards creating the project, and it gets so personal, it gets so easier to work with, because then whatever you do, it reflects with your community to work with, right? So there are a lot of stuff which can be sorted and can work well together. I would say not completely decentralized, because that's might have some cons later on once we'll have everything decentralized. But it should be like 70-30. We can work with, I would say.
Right, right, definitely. So both world and we have to work together. Both world has to work.
Exactly.
I think
Okay.
when we look at the blockchains, various blockchains we have in industry, such as Bitcoin, Ethereum, and many others. So if you look at the top blockchains are more decentralized, but if you look at the others, for example, someone has, let's say, 21 validators. So there are only 21 validators. That's it. Someone has like 10 validators. So if they have the network of just 10 blockchain nodes, running on us maybe in the same server, okay, it doesn't even, not necessarily it's on a different server, but it's the same server, same company, for example, or same computer device, the 10 nodes, virtual machine running for and running the blockchain network. So you said it right. So there are so many these types of blockchains are there which say they are decentralized, but in fact they are like centralized.
Yeah, exactly. So, like, we call it decentralized, but at the end, everything is centralized. So that's an agenda, like, we have been trying to think of, and in interactive, like, we thought, like, let's say, after 3 years, the issue with the AI is going to be everything is going to be uploaded on some cloud, right? Even IPFS or Filecoin is centralized at the end. So the
Yeah.
issue is going to be with the cloud and the storage and the processing of it. So how to solve it, right? And we just have like two three big players to work with right now. So this is how, like, the inflective AI came in. We thought of about, like, we thought a lot about it. So we pivoted a lot. So we wanted to have a global engine, and in simpler words, to create a decentralized AWS which resolves the main problem. So we're gonna have nodes to work with. So technically we have like 100,000 nodes, where and all the nodes can easily be, so we have light nodes, heavy nodes, and data nodes. So 10,000 data nodes, 60,000 light nodes, which can easily be run on your cell phones. And then heavy nodes which are on desktop or laptop. So let's say, and we wanted it to be so economical. So the cheapest one will be for, let's say, like $100 or $70, I would say, where the competitors have it around like $500. So that's how we want it to be. So even with the AI agents, we want it to be as simple as like maybe $10 or $20 a month. So right now, these are all the expensive areas people are working with. We pay a lot to all these AWS clouds and all other clouds.
Yeah.
So, and that's going to be an issue because they will keep on export. So on the business side, just to understand, Amazon's ROI mainly comes from AWS cloud, which is like 70% of the ROI for the whole Amazon. Can you imagine? Not the e-commerce part of it, not the ad part of it, not the prime, but Amazon cloud is 70% of the ROI for Amazon itself, and the burning is just 13%. So they, just because everything is automated, right, they can add on servers just to add more cloud. People are so used to it, they keep on paying those extra enormous bills to work with,
Enormous.
right?
Yeah.
Enormous bills, like the, so if we decentralize everything in terms of the data and the cloud, then the gaming will improve, the game studios will improve, the indie gamers will come in, and the indie developers will start creating stuff just because it will be easier to get in, it will be easier to upload a dApp, it will be easier to create a game and upload it and run it. So that's where we are trying to, like, solve one of the issues, which is going to be the data and processing. So and no one was creating the infrastructure for this. So this is why we are working on the infrastructure part of it, where I think we can help a lot of developers, we can help a lot of companies to work with. So that's where we are working on.
Right, right. Powerful. I mean, the technology that you are bringing together and working on is absolutely phenomenal because see the data and how that is stored on a cloud. It's, oh, by the way, the community that listening to this session might not be that much technical, so we will try to keep it non-technical
Yeah,
conversation.
this is why I was just talking, like, very normal stuff, nothing technical at all.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, but just in nutshell, what I can summarize what you said in simple language is to create the whatever that we see in a blockchain right now and whatever we are seeing what's happening in a web 2 world right now, everything is happening on a server. So at the moment, like whatever the everyone listening to this podcast, this event, everything is happening on a server. So what that server is like, where everything is there, that's is the base of everything. So that's where the Daniel and their team is working towards creating a decentralized ways to manage and run data, and with the use of the AI in various ways, right? So
True. And
yeah,
even on the security part, like what we have done is, like, so these are going to be the nodes which are going to be running on people's platform. So a lot of people think, like, it will not be secure. So it is not the data we will be working with, right? So Once, let's say you have an image on your cell phone, where you have like tons of image of your family. Once you upload it on our server, so the moment it goes away from your cell phone, it gets converted into an algorithm. So let's say if it's hacked, if somehow anything is compromised, it will not be the image, it will be the algorithm they'll get. So eventually, there'll be no data leakage, or I would say like they'll so it will be all military gauge kind of stuff will work with. So once it leaves, it's just like algorithms to work with. So when it comes directly back into your phone, it gets converted again with our consensus layer into the image. So if in between someone tries to leak or hack something, it will be of no use, just because those all will be algorithm, which is which means nothing to anyone. So these are the stuff, we can do a lot of stuff easily, and we can make things better and more useful. I think maybe like this year or next year our tech might not be needed, but in next 5 years it will be essentially needed, just because then those clouds will be full of issues as well, because AI needs a lot of processing, a lot of data to work with.
All right. Yep. Thank you. Thanks for the giving these insights and wisdom. Just I would like to take some moment and get some questions from community.
Perfect.
So there is one. How do token supply models such as inflationary versus deflationary impact long-term token value? So this question is more like a token related to the tokenomic. So what's your opinion about how there are many consensus that's a deflationary, the token supply reduces. Some are inflationary, some are deflationary. So what do you see uh, these token models, what is their long-term impact on the token value? What do you say about this?
So it depends from project to project, as how I think. Because let's say if you have a project which eventually scale in a way where a lot of million people will use it, right? So, and it depends on the utility of the token as well. So if in e-commerce, uh, let's say you are giving a cashback, or for a loyalty project you're giving a cashback, so the cashback goes back to the community, right, in terms of the tokens, and then people use those tokens to buy back whatever they are looking for, and the token comes back into the system. So the liquidity is getting hunted, right, each time people get the cash back and try to buy or utilize or redeem those tokens. So it depends from project to project and the utility of it, how it works. So for a lot of projects, inflationary model will work, and for a lot of project, deflationary project will work. So for the long term project, it depends, how long you are looking for first, and then secondly, how much audience are you thinking of. So let's say if I talk about Polygon. So Polygon, when it started, it was an amazing project, right? And they started doing a lot of collaborations, big collaborations to work with. But I think they got lost in between those partnerships, just because they couldn't deliver much, but they kept on doing partnerships, and those partnerships meant nothing. If so, all these blockchains or all these coins, what they needed is on-chain transactions to work with, and they need people to work with, and for those on-chain transactions they need more human, more normal people to get into web3. So in 5 to 10 years there'll be no web2 or no web3. It will just be one web, which is what we are seeing right now, right? It will
Right.
all be the same. That's going to be the transition actually. So right now we are under those transitions. So we call it like web 2, web 3, but in next 5 to 10 years I think everything is going to be web 3, and it will be the normal internet of the day. So to that context, if we talk about it, that's what's needed, right? So we need to think it in a way where how far we gonna go, because normally in crypto or in blockchain world, we don't think about it after like 3 4 years at all. So so a lot of people, like, that's what they do. They think about it till they raise good money, and then they don't do anything in terms of the infrastructure, and we have seen so far. So in next 3 4 years there'll be a lot of scrutiny. A lot of people will, like, a lot of projects will drop off eventually, like big blockchains, uh, who are just burning money and they don't know what to do with it. So they are not working on the infrastructure. So people who will only be working on use cases and infrastructure will stay long and stay last. So tokenomics, that's where tokenomics, long term tokenomics, help live the project and as real as it can go for.
Right, right. So you said that those people, those project who has a utility driven roadmap or planning, if they are only not lost in a speculative world of pump and dump and things like that, but they are just building a real value and utility, that you're saying will last longer, right?
Yeah, and to be honest, like, uh, devs are very less, right? Developers are very less. And right now, whenever we see any news or a new project, so technically how I perceive blockchain and all these projects is they're trying to come up with a problem which is not there. Right? Mainly, most of the project doesn't make sense at all, just because that's the problem is not there. They're trying to create a problem, and they're trying to create a project for a problem which is not there yet. so those projects will burn quickly and surely, just because eventually there'll be no user to work with, right? So
Yeah,
play to earn worked well for few projects, but a lot of projects doesn't go well. They raised a lot of money but they didn't do well, just because the main aspect of the game is not to earn but to play.
play. Yeah,
Right. So the basic of a game is to have a good game to work with first. If it's addictive enough, then on top of it, if you can earn money, it will go well. So some projects really worked well just because they hunted the right audience. They went into Philippines needed money, so people were playing those games just because of the money. So either, like, you need to know your target audience. Otherwise, like, you need to come up with a better gameplay. So even if your games are shit and useless, but if you target, like, places like Nigeria, Kenya, Pakistan, India, so like where people, or Russia, or like where people need money, and where people can easily earn something from it, then they'll play those useless games, right? But most of the players, like where people are investing a lot of money, are from rich countries as well. So they'll not buy those games or work or play those games. So this is why play to earn didn't work well. And all the projects which I think raised a lot of money tanked eventually. So same goes with the blockchains. Solve human issues, solve issues which are needed. So that's how L2s are working, right? L1 is there, L2 is created to help L1 scalable.
scale. Yeah,
But but L1 is charging very less fees from L2s on daily basis to work with. If everything is adopted on L2, so L1 will crash eventually, just because there'll be no traffic on L1, and everything will be working on L2, and L2 is just paying as easy as $1,000 a day, which is also an issue, right? So, and the issue is not to create more issues.
Yeah, yeah,
So, with the blockchains, the issues were L1s. So we created L2s. Then L2s were not enough. We created ZK roll ups. So, so then KYC was an issue. Then we started with zero knowledge KYC. So there are a lot of issues we are trying to create which are not issues at all, and we can make it as humanized. We can simplify it. So right now the issue is adoption, and adoption will only come if we'll humanize it, will make it simple, will make it simple as a 5 year or 10 year old can understand. So people don't understand blockchain, and we don't need to tell them. Blockchain has been in works for a very long time. Smart contracts has been in works for a very long time for banks and for transactions, right? But we never knew. Now we know. That's an issue for the big giants. Oh, normal people know about it now. But what we need to do is we need to create solutions which doesn't need people doesn't need to know or go through those like signups or blockchain. It should be seamless. First, if it will be seamless, it will be just as good as web 2, right? So they'll everything needs to be at the back. People doesn't need to know if it's decentralized or centralized. People doesn't need to know if I need to connect my wallet. It can easily be done with a Gmail login, right? So you get the in-app wallet by itself. So we need to show it in a way where people can access it more easily. So those transitions will help the adoption, and if adoption will come in, then only we can change a lot of stuff. Otherwise we'll just keep on wasting the time. That's what it is right now. You'll see the same 1,000 or 2,000 people in every blockchain event. Same speakers. I think Yatsu from Animoca Brands, you'll see him everywhere. I wish if he can clone himself into like 1,000 Yatsu, and they can all over the world and talk about the same thing. So that's what's happening right now. So we need
yeah.
adoption. We need normal people. We need a lot of normal people to work with, working on blockchain. So I think that that's something we need to talk about.
Right. Yeah, definitely. Very powerful conversation. We have some more questions, but I think we are running out of time
Yeah, I
to.
think it is time now, Yogesh. Yeah, over to you.
All right. So, just final concluding remarks. So, first of all, I acknowledge all the panelists, our valued and honored guests, for our event to share their wisdom and knowledge with the community. And I also acknowledge all those people who are here in this event listening live, and those people also will be listening replay afterwards. So, I acknowledge all of them to be part of this conversation, and we sure that it will be very helpful and valuable, insightful conversations that we had. Um, so thank you everyone for being on the call. Daniel, once again, special thanks for you to be on the show and sharing your knowledge with us.
Thank you, Yogesh. Thank you, Sandeep. I think it was pleasure. It was a lot of fun. So I think we'll might have more
All
in
right,
future.
everyone.
Thank
Thank you,
you.
community, for joining in. Thank you, everyone. Wishing every one of you have a great weekend and a productive week ahead.